Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome back to another NIKKE reaction, and today we have a weird one because I have actually already heard Voidseeker before in-game. I don't even remember how. I did this video once already, kind of. I started everything and I'm like, oh, I've heard this song already. I can't do a valid reaction if I've already heard a song, but I do like this one. I did vibe with it when I was playing the game. Again, I don't even remember exactly when I heard this song. I just know I've heard it. It was way too like, oh yeah, I've experienced this before. But I still want to do a video on it because it is a fun song. So basically, I'm going to do this in my normal format. I'm just prefacing that I've already heard it. So my reaction segment this time is more going to be just me sitting here enjoying it with you guys and talking a little bit about it, and then of course going into my usual breakdowns because there is still some fun musical stuff that the song does as per usual. So we'll get into the theory of all that, but first I gotta listen to the song, and without further ado, let's go. It's probably like one of the main themes. That's probably why I've heard it before, but I still want to vibe. It's just got such a punch to it. A lot of songs in this genre do, but there's a few reasons that stack up why this one has such a good drive to it. And of course, we'll talk about those. I also love this sort of thing. These like kind of offbeat kicks. And not being afraid to change it up a little bit throughout. Like going full double time, going back to the odd time. Love this too. Gorgeous melody. That's one of those things we'll be talking about in the next section. You know, it's kind of a bummer. The videos that I do on the Lost Sector songs don't tend to get that much attention. And that's exactly why it sucks. These songs are so good. Maybe not everyone's cup of tea. That's probably why. But they're just so addicting to me. I feel like a lot of people in the fandom are just kind of sleeping on them, frankly. See, like these waves. I love how they handle that. A little bit of a jungle rhythm in here too. Jungle beats are a classic in this genre. But I like how it's used as an accent for this song. These sorts of tracks, while I think the reason that many people sleep on them is because they do have kind of samey qualities, they're all just so unique in how they're done. That kind of sounds like it's a a statement that doesn't make sense. A little hypocritical even. But I think there's a distinct beauty in each musician in this genre, despite kind of doing similar ideas. None of them ever sound exactly the same. They are really the type of song you could just close your eyes and drift off. It's a genre of pulling you into a digital wave and carrying you off into a sea of code that you have no choice but to exist on the drift. You're just out there, a raft in the middle of nowhere. The World Wide Web, if you will. Alright, so we've officially entered weird music theory, and this is only weird for one particular reason, and that's the way that they're applying this key. This key being B-flat natural minor, which in itself is an interesting one because it can also be A sharp natural minor. It really just depends on how you notate it. For this case, I'm using B because that seems the most sensible to me with how I'm going to be explaining things. But effectively, it uses all the black keys. It also uses just a standard F, so really not much more going on there, pretty simple, but it also does have a C, and that is why I'm using B natural minor instead of A sharp natural minor, because A sharp natural minor calls it a B sharp, which is the same note. It's a C, it's just, again, the notation's weird there, and also the root of this entire song is on that note, that B flat, so it just makes more sense to talk about it that way. So why is this weird? Aside from that, it doesn't use the C at all. I could not find the C anywhere in this song. I played every chord I could, including that note, and could not find a way to make that specific note work in this song. So basically we have a song that's in B flat natural minor that doesn't use one of the notes at fucking all, as far as I can tell. And I even found it super interesting that it avoided it even through that one little melodic run that I really enjoy. Literally every other note in this key is played for that moment except for that C. They just run right by it. It's like the child they didn't want to have. They're like, oh god, ew, middle child, gross. And it gets completely ignored. Like, what the hell? But I love that melody. I'm gonna play it real quick just because it's so good here. And then it loops back around. And that's really just a beautiful melody. Again, it just kind of runs down the whole way. It starts on one octave, ends an octave lower, and then actually when it loops back around that second time, it jumps up past the octave where we started and goes to the octave above that in order to really expand where that melody lands before it drags us back into the higher energy of the rest of the song. And I really love the way they handle that because it's interesting to hear those sorts of melodic lifts when you like use an octave to pull the song forward. It's pretty standard when you're trying to get like energy built back up. Shifting up an octave is a great way. It's like shifting up in a car. It's just like, hey, I gotta get more energy. Let's put more in. Let's raise it up a little bit and make it happen. But basically the way it handles that, I'm gonna play this down an octave further from what I just did because I don't have that big of a keyboard. It's only like 32 keys for me. But the way that changes on the octave for those last three notes, it ends on that one and it goes, and then it starts to loop back around. But when we go back up that final time, it goes down here and then all the way back up. Like it skips that whole section in order to bring you that energy. And it's just a simple way to keep things rolling, but oh, it's oh so effective. And the fact that they skip the C entirely means that they're missing all of the dissonance in there. So they're really not doing anything. Like for example, that's in there, and this is a beautiful chord, but if you were to do anything with that in there, it doesn't necessarily land the same way. Even if you were to try and find a way to make it work, it's gonna sound a little bit stanky. So it makes sense to skip that C note on that melody, but at the same time, just why everywhere else? It wasn't used, again, as far as I could tell, anywhere else in the song. No other chords utilized that chord, that note, anywhere in them. They avoided it entirely. Every other chord structure didn't use the C at all. But stepping away from the specific music theory stuff like that, just the general energy of the song. I mentioned how much I love the structure of it. I love the inclusion of like the subtle jungle beats in here, because those jungle rhythms are everywhere in this genre, but they use them more as like a texture in this one. They keep them softer, a lot more pulled into the background. Usually those are like the core of the drums, and that's not the case here. They decided to stick more with those standard big heavy kick sounds and samples, and that works great. As well as the bass in this song, like the actual bass line is extremely heavy. Lots of focus on the lower resonance for this one, just to drive forward a little bit heavier, and makes the whole song just feel that much larger. But then you also have this absolute fucking plethora of noise in here, just all these other synths that are building up around it, creating this nice wash of sound, just all of these synths building around everything else going on in the song. That's what kind of gives it that feeling of being like on waves, for example. It's just a lot of side chaining as well, that like pulsating you get when the kick hits, and it kind of like ducks, and it's like, woo, it gives you that like lurching sensation. Great use there, especially when you have so many frequencies being taken up by all of the other synths going on. There's just nowhere for them to go, so you're kind of finding just a little bit of solace in those moments where the kick comes in. You're like, oh, there's a little bit of room here. I didn't expect that. You know, it's just a lot of build on the sound design for this one, down to those little details of having so much of the frequency range completely saturated by notes in there, and keeping these chord progressions going very smoothly, and then getting rid of all of that in order to include that melody in there. Just absolute fucking peak. I love this one, and I understand why so many people seem to love it as well, because of these reasons. I loved it when I heard it in the game. I love it now. I love that I can explain why I love it. It's just a gorgeous song. There's so many things to love. Like I mentioned, it's a bummer that so many people seem to not be interested in these songs from this game, or this genre in general, because it is absolutely full of this sort of approach to music, these sound design choices that sure might be a little bit overdone in some ways, but are always handled in unique fashions, and always have just a different approach to the mixing and mastering even. Like they might be using the same chords and the same approaches, but even something as simple, or if you want to look at it as like a technical approach, skipping out on using the C anywhere in this song is an interesting, unique choice that you can tell the composer didn't want to use that note to sour the rest of the sound. But I think it's because the C is so close to the beginning of this entire key. So it's right there. It's the second one up. It's right at the start, whereas the F comes later. There it is. So it has a little bit more to work with. It's in the center. The middle child syndrome doesn't necessarily fit in that way. They're both middle children, but this one has a lot more notes around it that work with it, that add a little bit more spice to it compared to the C, which does have stuff like I played earlier. But at the same time, if you were to play anything else that has like that relationship with it, with those notes nearby, it gets a little bit more sad and a little bit more crunchy. So it just doesn't have the same relationship that the F does up here, with a lot more room to grow and a lot more room to build these emotional highs and lows. The C is just kind of there in this case, and it doesn't really have a place in this song. But I think I'm done yapping now. I think this is the last song in Lost Sector that we haven't gotten to yet, so this should be the end here. We should be getting back into the normal OST going forward, but these were really fun. I love this genre. I love to talk about stuff like this, and even though they're not the most popular, they're still really fun to explore musically and figure out what makes them tick. Why things like removing the C make a difference in these songs is something I'll always be a little bit excited about. So I hope you enjoyed it as well. And if you have another song you want me to get to from NIKKE, by all means, drop in the comments below and I will do my best as always to get to those. But if you don't want to do that, maybe just want to follow me and support me for more stuff coming in the future, you know how to do all that. And I'll see all of you in the next video. Goodbye!